So I'm Shahd Bishara. I'm a Palestinian Arab citizen of Israel. I was born and raised in Nazareth. I'm a medical doctor and a member of the leadership team of Standing Together movement. So Standing Together is the largest grassroots movement in Israel that mobilizes tens of thousands of Palestinian citizens of Israel as well as Israeli Jews in the fight for equality, social and climate justice, as well as peace. At this moment, what we are witnessing, first of all, the collapse of the status quo. When I'm talking about the collapse of the status quo, I mean the managing of the conflict, conflict by means of occupation, military control on millions of Palestinians in the West Bank and the siege on Gaza, as well as in East Jerusalem. What we need to think about how to build right now a power in order to shift the Israeli public opinion toward a more sustainable future by means of peace agreement between Israelis and Palestinians. The disadvantages is the work, the amount of work we need to do in order to make this shift in the Israeli public opinion. This shift is not going to come in one day, but it's rather a continuous work that has to be done in order to make and build a majority big coalition within the Israeli society that pressure the leaders in order to go into negotiation with the Palestinians in order to reach a peace agreement. In Standing Together, we believe that both sides, Israelis as well as Palestinians, have a shared interest in living in equality, dignity, and in peace. And peace is not only the absence of war. We know that the Gaza War just ended, but the occupation is continuous. The military control is still going on. The settlement expansion as well as the settler violence didn't stop. So what we need to think about right now is two things. First of all, we need to understand that there are millions of Palestinians living on the area between the river and the sea, and as well as there are millions of Jewish Israelis living in the area between the river and the sea, and no one is going to go anywhere. The only way to ensure safety, security, as well as justice is with Israeli-Palestinian peace agreement. On the other hand, we know very well that the Palestinian fight is for liberation and for freedom. And we know that the fight for freedom is inextricably linked as well as is intertwined with the safety and security of Israelis. What we are missing in this equation that to achieve peace is also bringing security, is also bringing safety to the Israelis. We saw that managing the conflict brought us to the atrocious attack of the 7th of October. Right now, what we need to do is to convince the Israeli public that their own interest should be to focus into peace agreement rather in managing the conflict. I see the message of Standing Together movement is getting more and more audience. I'm seeing this with the numbers that joining more and more, joining the movement. I'm seeing it when we are arranging and we are doing protests. The number are growing exponentially. That means that the idea of peace is actually more resonating right now in the Israeli public. What's going to be the most helpful, I would think, right now at this time is to find Israeli leaders that they are willing to sit down on the negotiation table with the Palestinian partners in order to go into a peace agreement or at least to start negotiation. Why I'm saying this? Because we know that right now in the Israeli political atmosphere, there is no political party that is willing or even talking about the opportunity of peace after the war in Gaza. But we see it as a very, very important opportunity to talk about peace at this stage. So I would say that it's very helpful right now to make a majority from at a grassroots level to pressure leaders to go into negotiation, because as we know, we have a Palestinian partner that is willing to sit down on the negotiation table by means of the Palestinian Authority in order to achieve somehow a peaceful agreement. But we are not seeing the Israeli part doing this. And talking about internationally and the Arab countries as well, they play important role. I totally agree. But this is not the most important thing to do right now. The most important thing is to bring both sides from Israel as well as Palestine to sit down on a negotiation table and to go toward a peace agreement. During the USF meeting, it was very, very, very helpful for me, first of all, to listen from both sides, to understand the aspiration of both sides, and to think together strategically on how we can build a more just future for both sides. As I said, at the end of the day, the negotiation is going to happen between Israelis and Palestinians. Without talking, without conversation, without dialogue, without understanding how we are going to go forward from this point, because we got into a very, very low point at this stage after the genocidal war in Gaza, as well as the 7th of October attack. The question is, from here, how we're going to rise. And the United for Shared Future, I think it's one of the ways in order to imagine a different future, in order to also work in achieving a different future. For me, Standing Together movement is like my second home. Projects and movements like Standing Together should get a big support, because we are the people on the ground. We are the people that living the reality on the ground. We are the people who are fighting to change this reality into a better reality. And therefore, and I don't underestimate the leader's task and the leader's position, but at the grassroots movement, at the grassroots movement level, it's very important to support people on the ground, simple people on the ground, that they are fighting on a daily basis in order to change the reality. Standing Together movement, what we realized right now, that after the recognition by so many countries of a Palestinian state, that at this critical moment, we need to ensure the self-determination of the Palestinian people. The self-determination of the Palestinian people has to come with a Palestinian statehood alongside a Israeli state at this stage. In the very, very far future, if both sides agree, these two states could become one confederation as well. This question is very important for the public, because the public is very, very concerned about the solutions that they might come up. But at Standing Together, we believe that millions of Israelis and millions of Palestinians are there. No one is going to go anywhere. The only way that we can ensure equality, safety, justice for everyone is with peace agreement. It doesn't matter how it's going to look. Our job is not drawing borders. Our job is not drawing lines between the two countries, but we know that both people aspires self-determination, and both people wants to live in safety, security, equality, and justice, and this is our fight. What we are seeing right now, that there is a huge polarization, and this is the difference between living abroad and looking at the conflicts from outside, rather than being on the ground and experiencing the conflict on a daily basis. And therefore, my message right now is that the polarization has to stop, because there is no way to ensure a different future. Internationally, what we are seeing right now, that people focus on terms and terminology that they are much, that can be used maybe in academic word or a work or academic research and stuff like this. And this kind of focus on terminology makes the international society also very, very polarized. But when we are looking at the facts and our reality on the ground, we are seeing that the only way to ensure a different future is actually to bring people together rather than to separate people from each other. And I think people would think that standing together, they are naive, or they are not focusing on one side rather than the other side. But the main thing is to show that the only way that we can ensure a better future for everyone is strategically as well, is to work together, Israelis and Palestinians together, in order to fight the status quo. So my main message is, there are people on the ground, we are living the reality. To see things from outside might be frustrating, but the polarization has somehow to stop.